Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the press conference for the media of the Football Association of Serbia. Head coach Dragan Stojković before you. We now start with your questions, your name and surname and the organization you're coming from. Dusan Uštević, Telegraph. Head coach, a very difficult night for all of the fans, and I believe for yourself as well. The fans on several occasions said pixie leave. What is your comment regarding this, and will you listen to them? As for that, people have the right to their own opinion and to express their dissatisfaction, just as I'm dissatisfied with the defeat, the same way they're dissatisfied with our play and defeat as well, and it's quite normal. That's my comment. And another one. This was a historical defeat of Serbia in Belgrade. The the second largest one was 3-0. So what would you say were the error? Actually, it was 4-1, I believe. But nevertheless, um, you know what? It's a difficult night for us and a difficult defeat and a heavy one. But when you have an opponent such as England is, and especially the way it was tonight, you have to admit that they are far, far better in all segments. Speed, physics, technique, quality in general. And the outcome was inevitable, the heavy defeat that we have suffered. And what is also very important to know that this was an absolute reality that hit us as to what we are and where we are compared to them. They belong to the top of the European and world football, and this is why they're champions, world champions. And you are completely helpless when faced with such a team, but you have to face this. And it has been proven that they dominated throughout the match, scored, and especially the red card that we were given. So, all in all, yes, it's a deserved victory. And we didn't deserve it in no way, nor was anything that we could have done. Good evening, head coach Petar Milovanovic. I wanted to ask something else, but now that you said that it's a reality, a year ago, we were actually a team that could stand up to them. We lost 1-0 by Bellingham scoring. And what changed within a year? And is this actually is this the reality? What we saw tonight, it is reality. Just as Spain knocked Turkey out, it's the same category, basically. You know what scared me the most? The physical readiness of our players. We have a lot of problems. Our players are not playing. They're not fit and in the rhythm. Where the English are far more better prepared, both on the individual level and within a competition from Wednesday to Saturday. They play very difficult and challenging matches. And I see our players that were slow. And in the physics, we cannot compete with them. The opponent can play better. They can be better quality without a doubt. But physically, we are way below that. And in reality, yes, of course, this is a heavy defeat and it's very difficult to accept it, but reality is something else. Can we be real? No, hardly. I believe that we don't belong into this group and including them, Spain, Germany, France as well. It's the way it is. And this defeat, as much as heavy as it is, it comes in a very good point of time. Why? so that we can actually sober up and wake up. And so that in October, we'll take this far more serious and be a lot better than we were tonight. With all respect to this fantastic team, such as England is. And to mention this, when the qualifiers started, we knew that our main rival is going to be Albania and that England is absolute favorite in our group. And those who would say it differently, I'd say that they weren't right. It's an entirely different dimension of football. So our goal remains the same, that we will keep on winning in the following matches and to collect as many points in order to be able to come to the position number 2. And then this will be the realistic image of our national team. Head coach, good evening. It seems that at the beginning of the match, with this setup, you had some sort of idea. You quite shaken up the team. You had a lot of defense players, Vlahovic, for example. You had some sort of idea. Can you disclose what was this idea? Did you want to change something in the second half in case of a positive outcome and the result? I was talking about the physical readiness and fitness, which is the way it is. And following the match in Riga after 3 days, you have to change something. In the efforts are too big, and we had 4 subs compared to the previous match. And they also changed for people as well, for players as well. So this change is not something you wouldn't even notice. They might have, they might have introduced even better players than the previous ones were, but it's the top players who do make a difference on the pitch, and that's the whole point. Yes, the idea was, yeah, we know that Mitrovic has not been playing for 3 months. Luka Jovic as well, and has a very low number of minutes. And now you're trying to strike a balance in the team, and you know that they're a very good team, that they will have a good possession of the ball. And then the idea is, as such, to have the defense line and the players in the middle of the pitch to sort of make it easy for them, this overpowering by the English team that we knew would come. So these positions were taken by Birbančević and Milenković. And on the other hand, you are hoping that you will get a chance and an opportunity and to react from a counterattack and to try to break their back line. But of course, they were a lot better than us, and they didn't allow for this possibility and the luxury to try and threaten them. But then the second half, my apologies, we made 2 replacements, 2 substitutions, and we played a lot more offensive with a lot more attacks, but I believe that these 2 goals were actually very cheaply received, to be honest. But I want to say this, whatever the composition, whatever the setup, we wouldn't have been able to rescue ourselves. Sorry, I cannot hear the speaker. I would appreciate if they would have given him a microphone so that I could hear the journalist as well. Anyway, it's the same level. I don't know how maybe the Spaniards had a bad day, but we played that match with a draw, but don't expect it to happen at all times. And this is something that they cannot allow again to happen. That's the reality. If somebody wishes to understand this, if not, I will say something else because we have more questions. Unfortunately, I cannot hear the speaker again. The journalist should be using the microphone in order to be able to interpret the journalist's question. Yes, I can take all of the criticism, and of course, you will criticize both the doctor and physiotherapist. But my impression is whatever the composition, whatever the setup, whatever the tactics against such a team, one cannot simply play. You cannot make it against such a team. But the difference on the pitch, there were some players that in Germany, there were some players that were not on the pitch today. They're not with us anymore. And that was an entirely different match compared to this one. Unfortunately, I cannot hear the questions again. Well, quite similar, to be honest. Given that at the time we eliminated the Swiss in the elimination stage, and then we managed to knock Austria out, I said that we deserve, based on such a result. But if you remember, but I also said at one of the questions from your colleagues, I honestly said I think that we belong to a different level. So the result that we belong to the B level, but then the results brought us up to A. I think it's a reality. Second place in the group, that's our goal. And let's try and go to the knockout stage and qualify for the World Cup. The question was about Tuchel, right? He said he was not surprised by your performance. When you start to attacking this against such a team, I believe it's simply it would be in vain because you have nothing to threaten them with. And on the other hand, he was not surprised. Why would he be surprised? I mean, they have excellent speed on the wings. They have fantastic attackers and strikers who easily receive the balls and play with the ball and in the middle and have the middle of the pitch, which is very flexible, and the ball flow was fantastic. I simply wasn't able to. You simply weren't able to respond to that, and in that such an option, at least you try to keep it compact and wait for an opportunity because in this live performance you cannot not do anything else. It's the speed that was on their side and their extreme capability on among all of the players, the dribbling and everything that football should offer. This is what they performed. This is what they've showed. Katarina Živković is all I heard. Unfortunately, I cannot hear the journalists. My apologies for not providing the translation. No problem. The game didn't the game didn't surprise me because I knew they would be dominant. But this is what worries me: the breaks. We worked on this. We warned about this. We did the analysis. We did everything that we should have. But when you receive such a number of scores, you say it's quite cheap. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but our reaction was not strong enough. It should have been far, far better. That's a matter of concentration and position, a million of other minor things. But yes, we need to work on this. And that's something that shouldn't happen and shouldn't be happening. Good evening, Barkos Pasovic Sport Club. Head coach, if you don't remember, if I remember, you didn't say whether you would resign after this defeat. You said the fans have the right to their opinion just as you do. Let me interrupt you because I see that you are very looking forward, so to say, to the resignation. I said, and I will repeat, people are entitled to their dissatisfaction and to express their dissatisfaction, but of course, we didn't lose against Latvia or Andorra or some other team. We lost to Super Football Force, and if that is not clear, is that clear or not? We didn't lose to a team that is at the same level as us or below us, so that you would say this is a catastrophe. Let's be real. If we can, if not, then nothing. Okay, so people are entitled to express their dissatisfaction. Of course, I heard it. But let's not forget, within the 4 years, so many good things have been done in terms of the national team, and that one defeat, one match after such a super force such as England is, cannot deny everything else. We agree to that end. If we're the football wonder that should have won against England, well, okay. Bring in somebody who can do it. You said when announcing the match. I can't say that we're going to be playing the match in order to receive as few goals as possible. Who would want to say that? You need to keep the morale up. You need to motivate the players, and you have to be positive, without going to the match with pessimism. What would be like? Would it be like if I were to go into the dressing room and say to the players, "Look, we're going to lose." I'm not going to do that. But a defeat might be even good to sober us up and shake us up and learn and teach us certain things. And maybe that's even better than have a number of matches where you would get 1-0. Are you afraid tomorrow or in the days in the following days to be fired by the executive board of the Football Association of Serbia or the other authorities? Well, you can ask them. I have no idea. Call them. Feel free to call them. Ask them. No problem. If that's the solution for our football, that tomorrow we're going to be a wonder, well, okay. How, what do you expect on the 11th of October after such a match as this one? And how do you explain the reaction of the fans, given that the match started with very positive cheering? I'm very glad that the whole stadium didn't leave once we received the fourth goal, let alone the fifth. We're now living in very turbulent and volatile circumstances, and I don't want to go into that topic. So we went into these qualifiers in Tirana. We had 7 points following 3 matches, and then somebody booing a group of people on the right hand. Yes, I did hear fans booing, and I was wondering who they're booing against. I suppose it was for me. I don't know what the reasons could have been. The match didn't even start. We have 7 points on the table. Good chances to reach our goal. So God knows what that might be, to be honest. But I don't want to burden myself with this as to why this was happening. I was trying to focus and to give my best to be successful and for the national team to be at their top level. Any more questions? Head coach Marko Milenkovic. Just one more fact. Tonight, this was a heavy defeat for our national team for 105 years on our pitch. Yes, a total catastrophic result. I wasn't counting the years. I have no idea, but yes, a result that is very high. It might have not been so high if we were not awarded the red card. But these things happen in sports and football as well. What can we do? Yeah, we came across a mine and it exploded and it was very destructive for us, I would say. Do we have any more questions? Repi Zlatarvi Sports Journal. You were extremely brave in your third match when you played against Portugal here on the same match, and you had a very attacking team at a time. Tonight, an entirely different story. Is Serbia that weaker compared to the beginning of your mandate? Because Portugal is also a top level team, and you managed to even be before them in the group. That was 4 years ago, 2021, right? So when you look at the team composition and who played at the time and who were the players younger, 4 years younger, then you'll see the difference. Some players are missing, but that's the way it is. Do we have any more questions? We were well prepared then. It was a very good energy, and we didn't give up. It all went the way it should have. So, but the period 4 years back and today, it's a difference. It truly is a difference. Any more questions? Head coach, would you like to add something perhaps? No more questions? Um, yeah, it's definitely a heavy defeat, and I will expect all criticism. And if you have to criticize somebody, don't criticize me, not the players. They did all they could. They need support. They need to keep their heads up after this. And I believe this is going to be an entirely different and a better Serbia when matches that will be deciding the position in the table come for us. So don't criticize the players. They've they've done a lot for the Eternal team. Criticize me, no problem for that. I accept all that and I understand it. And the dissatisfaction of the people as well is something that I accept. They are entitled to express their dissatisfaction. That's it. But again, we lost against a super force, a super football force, which they have proven to be tonight. Is that it? Okay, thank you very much. Good night.